Welcome to the United Stand, Manchester United. I called it. I said this has got vibes of Wolves 13 months ago where we played really badly, 0-0. Rashford scored at the end and we forget about it and we take the 3 points. We've taken 6 points from West Ham this season and I don't really know how we've done it. Both games we've taken right at the end. David De Gea in London with that penalty save and then Rashford with the tap in at the end there. Make sure you do your player ratings, links in the video description. Mark them out of 10, 6 being the average, star for your man of the match. The first thing I'm going to say is that there's so many things to talk about in that game and literally you're 30 seconds away from changing what you think. A bad draw into an epic win in the space of a few seconds, and people will go, oh, flip-flop, this, that and the other. If Manchester United teaches you anything, is that things can change massively. I think back to that final back in 99 when Solskjaer won it. But before that, before the Sheringham equaliser, you're probably 1 or 2 minutes away from sitting there going, we've just thrown away a European Cup opportunity. And then 2 minutes later, you've won it. This is the wonder of Manchester United and this is the wonder of football. Things can change very, very quickly. A lot of the things that were bad about that game, the ridiculous shooting from distance, you know, 1 shot on target in the whole game when we really did control it but didn't create anything, turns into, who cares, it's 3 points and we're into the top 4. So that could be a really, really encouraging result. But the star of the show, and maybe controversial, smash a like if you agree, Anthony Martial. Anthony Martial. There was rumours of people booing him when he came on. Well, look, apparently this has happened to players before at Old Trafford, but we're better than that. I would never go to Old Trafford and boo a player, and I don't think any United fan would do that. So, but, look, does Anthony Martial want to play on the left wing? Because if he wants to play on the left wing, he starts for Manchester United every week. Because what Martial does, and has always done off the left wing, is he doesn't fucking shoot from 30 yards. It's not his thing. He's a finisher in the box. He's not a 30-yard shooter like Greenwood, Elanga, Rashford, Bruno. He won't do that. So what Martial will do, he'll get the ball, he'll keep it close, he'll pass and move, and he'll feed other people. And we're crying out for that. That's what Sancho will bring on the right when he settles in. We don't have a player that wants to do that. I couldn't believe the amount of times today that people were shooting from distance, just putting their head down and shooting, and there's a player in front of them and it's getting blocked. It's madness. But when Martial came on, and big shout out to Rangnick, I said when he made the substitutions, he's going to live or die off these substitutions because we basically had 4 attackers, Cavani, Ronaldo, Rashford and Martial. It was attack, 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 and you sensed that Rangnick understood the importance of winning that game. If we draw that game, we're on the same points as Spurs and they've got 3 games in hand. We're 1 point of Arsenal and they've got 2 games in hand. We had to win that game and we did. And the result conquers the performance in many ways because there was some really, really, you know, average performances. I don't think anybody played badly, but it was an average performance in many areas. But Martial changed that game because suddenly West Ham shit themselves. Instead of having players that just get their head down and run like Rashford or Greenwood or Elanga, they've got somebody who's like putting their head up and running with the ball and looking at them, looking where people are, and I might pass it to them or I might go past you and then pass it to them. And it just suddenly opened up a lot of options for Manchester United. He nearly scored himself. Ronaldo passed it. And I thought Ronaldo was brilliant today as well. He had a big part to play in that goal. He was talking to the coach at the end about the run. Some intelligent runs. He slipped Rashford in. Ronaldo was almost creative today, and I thought he had a good game, especially towards the end. Just no service again, as is standard with Martial, but with Ronaldo. But Cavani with the brilliant cross, and look, McGran would have finished that. Rest in peace. You know, she'd have finished that goal for from Rashford. But 2 goals for Rashford in 2 games, and you know, sort of going under the radar of just being a team player rather than trying to do things that, you know, we don't want him to do. So look, that Saturday night dance, I like the way you move. You know, if we'd drawn that game, you're ordering a takeaway, you might be having a beer, you're watching a film and your heart's not really in it. We can chill. Saturday night, chill. You know, nice bit of food, nice drink, nice relaxation, and 3 points. It just changes the mood, it really does. And look, I still think the board should be doing their job that Rangnick wants them to do. Go and buy him a midfield. The midfield was honest and hard-working, but lacked creativity today. I thought McTominay was very, very average today. Very, very quiet. Fred worked hard, but they're not good enough. They're not good enough. And if we draw that game, the midfield would have been where I would have said, look, where's the creativity from that midfield? They worked hard, they pressed hard, we didn't concede many chances, but, you know, it felt a little bit like Ollie last season where, you know, that was a very Ollie performance, actually, to be fair. That was a very Solskjaer win where you know, back six at times, deep line at times, not conceding goal, and then you nick a goal at the other end. But, you know, Rangnick's doing it for different reasons. He wants to play a different brand of football, but he also knows results are important. And also, Rangnick reminded me of Sir Alex. That's probably the only manager that's reminded me of Sir Alex since Sir Alex went, in the sense that there's 5 minutes to go or 10 minutes to go, and, you know, we're going to draw a game, and I think Ollie smiles and goes, yeah, let's take the point. And Rangnick's like, shit, I need to win this game. So he basically puts 4 up front, and it's a risk. I mean, West Ham had that header from Souček near the end. They could have won the game, but it felt to me like there was a bit of risk to United from Rangnick. And yes, it felt like an Ollie performance at times because we defended well and we kept a clean sheet. But then to go and win the game at the end, you only do that by, well, look, Martial. All 4 forwards had a part to play in that goal. Watch the goal again. Ronaldo's movement, Martial with the perfectly weighted pass to Cavani, who crosses it, and Rashford puts the tap in. You don't score that goal if you haven't got 4 attackers on the pitch, and West Ham can't mark everybody up, and that's why caution to the wind. So, look, I don't expect Rangnick to get the job. I don't, but I think that De Gea must have felt like he was on holiday, says Catherine. The great thing is, we all know that when you're doing your player ratings, which you can do, link in the video description, mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average, it won't be David De Gea. He won't be man of the match because he had nothing to do. He had pipe and slippers on. It was fantastic. Josh says Martial had a short spell there, didn't put a foot wrong, moved well and held the ball up perfectly. I think he changed the game, Josh. I think Martial changed the game because West Ham, if I'm a defender for West Ham today, I know all I've got to deal with is somebody cutting in and shooting from distance. As soon as Martial gets it, you're like, fucking hell, he's running at me. What am I going to do? I thought we played well, Mark, against a well-organised team. Didn't create chances, but we are starting to improve. Low block teams are our weakness, says KMD. Martial, man of the match, says Casual AFA Gamer. I don't think we're going to get top 4. Not kid ourselves, but if we do get top 4, only tells the owners the team is good enough for what they want. Look, top 4 is still going to be very, very difficult. You know, I don't think West Ham played very well today. I don't think we allowed them to play well, but I don't think they played very well. I think there's better teams than West Ham that we're going to have to beat to get top 4, but we had to win today. You know, we had to win today. We had to beat Brentford. We've just got to go into that with open eyes. He went for the heavy attack when he saw we can take it. Last game closed when needed. He's doing what's needed to the game in hand, says Hamada. And loads of rivals in the chat calling it offside. I love the taste of their salt. Sit down, you glory hunting fans, says Red Baron. Look, I thought it was offside. I did think it was offside. It wasn't offside because that's what VAR is there for. It's the angle of the camera, isn't it? I thought he was offside when I saw it, but he wasn't. He wasn't offside, and it's nice to win a game like that because I think the draw. I almost have to put my head on for a moment and say, what would my reaction have been if we'd drawn that game? Cade's going on a pub crawl at 7. He's going to enjoy it. Hopefully going with other people. That performance was Ollie-like, but the glaring difference is that under Ollie we always look like conceding, says Dinesh. Mark, how's it Ollie's performance? We were pressing well and controlled the game, says Ram. I disagree. Holy crap, Mark, I almost peed myself. What a win, says Mikael Roach. And Martial and Cavani overloaded their defence. Brilliant, says Christopher Day. Look, I think just to go back to that previous comment, we spoke about this at half time. You can control a game without winning a game. And I think United did control the game, but we didn't control the game in the way Liverpool control a game or Chelsea controlled a game where it's chance after chance after chance. We were almost allergic to that West Ham final third. We just couldn't get there. And one thing that Rangnick needs to work on in the training ground and was massively pissing me off today, and the only negative I'm really going to talk about is that I cannot understand from minute, that very first time where Greenwood gets it and doesn't pass to Ronaldo, who's free in the box and shoots with his head down. He's got 2 West Ham players literally within a metre of him and he shoots. But Ronaldo's free in space 3 metres to his left. Elanga did it. Bruno did it. Delot did it. Telles did it. Rashford does it. Why are our players being coached or even being allowed to just shoot from stupid angles? It's like they get the ball, they get within 30 yards and they'll shoot. And it doesn't matter whether there's a West Ham player in the way or not. They shoot. And it's like, That was the contrast of Martial and Cavani coming on, because they came on and they don't shoot from 30 yards. They get the ball, they look to play the ball and work better situations. And we have too many players in our team that don't want to work. It's impatience. It's impatient. It's petulance. That's what it is. It's the impatience and petulance of these players that is stopping us creating goals like that. I mean, Marcus Rashford has scored a tap-in today. Would he ever create that chance for somebody else? No, because Rashford would be shooting from 30 yards. And this is what people like Rashford and Greenwood and Bruno to a certain extent need, and Alanga, they need to learn this. That goal we scored today was a tap-in from a really well worked goal. We don't create chances like that because we're all too busy shooting from 30 yards. It's really annoying. And that would have been the big conversation point if that last minute, last second, whatever, winner didn't happen. And that's why Martial and Cavani, certainly Martial's impact was bigger, because he will work it into the box. You know what? Right here, right now, I might say something really stupid, but if Anthony Martial wants to play left wing, he's playing left wing between now and the end of the season, and United's dynamic changes. Because I think if you've got Ronaldo up front with Martial on the left and Sancho on the right, that team is very exciting creative-wise. The problem is we've got two wide players who are wide forwards who want to cut in and shoot. Martial creates things. Sancho creates things. We need to be more creative. It was the big problem we had in that game today, was control of the game but not control of scoring goals. We had one shot on goal, I think, before the winner from Rashford. So, yeah, it wasn't a good performance from Man United. It was a good performance defensively. We gave West Ham a lot, not a lot, but we didn't create enough. Rangnick redeemed his lack of subs for the Villa game, losing us 2 points by making the right subs today to win us 2 points, says Julian Lee. It's my birthday, very happy with the 3 points, says Cade. Everything was right tonight. The subs, the passing and defending, not the prettiest win, but whether you win by an inch or a mile, a win is a win. And I agree with that, Omar. Martial called the coach Saka, but when he runs at the defence, he's so exciting. Chances, not forwards, has always been the issue, says Nicholas. I think I saw a bit more passing from those players, but not in these important moments, says Leo. And Martial, Ronnie and Sancho should start, says Ryan. Well, I suppose the interesting thing here is, Ryan and everybody else, riddle me this, everybody. What do you do now? The transfer window, we're not playing another game before the transfer window closes a week on Monday. What do you do with Anthony Martial? There's going to be plenty of people watching that going, we'll take Martial on loan. Martial's going to say to Rangnick, I want to go on loan because I want to start games. What do? You can't just say, let's keep Martial if he's not going to play. Do you keep him? Do you let him go? It's a real headache because, as I said, for me, he starts off the left wing. Does he want to start off the left wing? I hope we see Martial, Sancho and Ronaldo, says Gustavo. Welcome to the members club, Keelan. And Ronaldo almost having to play as a false nine, creator role, not utilising his best traits. I'd rather take 5 shots a game than anyone else, says Nickit. Thanks everyone who's watching, by the way. Make sure you smash a like on the video. A lot of people saying keep him. Let him go, some people say. To me, it's as simple as this. Martial must start, Mark. I always say how much I rate him. He's dangerous, says Lewis Clark. Ronaldo is linking up the play so well, says Hem. I thought Ronaldo played well, yeah. Martial's got to want to play off the left wing because he can't play up front. Now, if Martial wants to be a striker, you've got to let him go. If he wants to play off the left wing, you've got to start him. But what do you do then with people like Rashford and Greenwood? Do you keep Rashford as a super sub? I mean, to be honest with you, Rashford scored 2 goals in 2 games, but in both games, I don't think he's done anything other than score. Well, people say, well, he scored. But, there was times again today where Rashford was on for 32 minutes and the only thing he did was score the goal, which was massive, but creativity-wise, nothing again. Running into dead ends again, but scores a goal. So does Rashford become a super sub and Martial becomes a starter because he's more creative? In my mind, that's what Rangnick needs to decide. And you know what? You could find yourself in a position where you let Martial go and you stick with what you've got and you don't get top 4 and people say that was a mistake. Martial also tracks back as well, says Corbs. I thought Martial today was very, very good. And, you know, Cavani with that as well. Man United need James Ward-Prowse. We definitely need more creativity in the midfield, Jose. You know, ideally, I would love, and look, only off the top of my head, I'd love to see a holding midfielder, which we haven't got, Pogba and Bruno, Sancho and Martial, and then Ronaldo. That's what I would love to see. So much creativity, but with a holding midfielder, a high line, you know. But, you know, the result is fantastic there. 7 points from our last 9, to be fair, is good. You know, you think about the Villa game exactly a week ago, it was really disappointing to blow a 2-0 lead. But I think if you'd said to me before that Villa game, you're going to take 7 points from your next 9, I'd have said, yeah, go on then, we'll take that. Why did Ronaldo play? He did well as a false 9. Did Ronaldo ask him, says Chiri. And, hey Mark, was that Martial's first game since Ralph came, says Brian. Yes, it was. This problem with too many wing exactly why we should stay away from Dembele, says LJ Snooker. Well, we're going to do the player ratings, but I just want to go through some of my notes. The big thing that stood out for me was the shooting. It's so indisciplined. It's so petulant. It's so annoying. You know, you work to get 30 yards away from the goal and then you shoot and give them the ball back. It's just a waste of possession. Martial was good, but is the consistency there, says Jim. Well, in that 5 minutes, he's been more creative than Rashford and Greenwood have been all season. An interesting stat for you, Rashford's got 1 assist this season and Greenwood's got 1 assist. And they've been playing predominantly as our wide players. And you wonder why Ronaldo's not getting service. For me, it's only 1 game. But Phil Jones played 1 game against Wolves, and I think he should have started again. So, look, maybe we might not see Martial in a United shirt again, but he just offers something very, very different. What do you think of we playing a 4-1-3-2, Ron and Cavani up front? Don't like the idea of that, mate. But there's no service, so why would you play 2 up front? Mark, if Pogba comes in, how good will he be at pressing? Says Ram. I don't know, but we need more creativity in that midfield. As I said, I thought Fred worked hard today, but... And look, he had the 1 shot on target before the goal, but, you know, it's just not... Fred's a bench player for Manchester United. He's not a starter. You need better in that midfield than Fred. And, you know, McTominay's not a holding midfielder. I think we saw that again today. We need more quality in that team, because if we can control a game defensively with Fred and McTominay, imagine what we could do if we had 2 better players than those 2. And that's what I would say. If Rangnick can put a system where we can control a game like we did in the first half, but we're not creating anything, imagine if you can control a game with 2 better players in the midfield playing with Bruno. Will Pogba come in and replace Fred in the midfield, or will he create more as a left forward, says Akash. Well, again, look, you could put Pogba off the left. I wouldn't be opposed to that. More creativity is needed in that team. Team performance, classic Jose, too many average players, number 8s, subs, Greenwood, control, shots on the box. Look, at the end of the day, there's lots of things I could talk about. I think the only negative I'm going to mention is the shooting from outside the box, which was infuriating and it's been going on for a long time. I don't need to name a name here. Think of our wide forwards that we've been using and vision this. They get it on the wide, they boost... They do a boost of pace cutting inside and then they just shoot blindly, and it can be off the right hand side or the left hand side, and it happens a lot. And this is Manchester United. It shouldn't be happening, and he needs to get a grip on that. And if it means dropping those players, drop them. We need to get wide players who are creative. For me, next game I would go Martial off the left and Sancho on the right, and give it a go, because we would stop seeing the cutting in and shooting. And you know, a lot of people talking about Mason Greenwood. Mason Greenwood's a striker. I want to see Mason Greenwood as a striker. Murphy, thanks for the super chat. Still love you in the show though, says Bjorn. I don't know why you wouldn't. McFred ghosted once again. No vertical play. Too many touches next game. McTominay completes a dribble and people go mad about how good he is, says Rafa. And you stole my comment at you, Pratt, about Martial and Sancho, says Bjorn. Well, I think a lot of people will feel that as well. Yeah, we're going to do the player ratings. One thing I did write down, and I'll forget if I never say it. Manchester United start so many games at Old Trafford flat. We're Manchester United. Old Trafford is one of the best atmospheres in football. Why do we start so many games flat? It encourages a team to bed in. We need to start a game bubbling and get the crowd going, because then it feeds into the rest of the game. This was the best performance we've had in a while. We lacked the final ball, but we controlled the game and were more fluid, says Andreas. It's not on Ranić. Martial is perfect for 4-2-2-2, but he decided to want to wait on him if he wants to stay. Definitely a future. Up to him, says Asset. Well, is it Asset? If I'm Martial, I'm having a chat with Ranić this week, and if Ranić says to me, I want you to stay, I'm saying to him, what does that mean? Well, I want you to be part of the team. What does it mean? Am I behind Rashford and Greenwood, in which case I'm going, or am I starting on the left-hand side, in which case I'll stay? That's all. That's the only conversation that needs to happen. Looked like they pre-agreed a chilled game. Rashford scores, and I'd been lulled into such a deep trance that instead of roars of yes and get in, I just said, oh, fair enough, cool, says Murphy. And Marcus Rashford now has most winning goals in Premier League history after 90 minutes. He's got 4, says Infinite. Great. Okay, if that's the stat you want, that's the stat you're going to get. Right, player ratings. Mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. Links in the video description. We've got the fan forum after this as well, which will be very interesting to see how it was. For me, bottom line is just the result. The win is what matters. Just before I talk to you about that, if you want to know what's going on in the Premier League table, Manchester United are in 4th place. I mean, interestingly, if we win our game in hand on Chelsea, we'd be 3 points behind them. But more importantly, we're in 4th. We've got 38 points. We've played a game less than West Ham. We've got 37 points. However, Spurs are 2 points behind us with 3 games in hand. And Arsenal are 3 points behind us with 2 games in hand. So the race is on, but we've given ourselves a chance. But the race is on. What do I think about, just before I do fan player ratings, somebody quite rightly has just asked me, what do you think about transfers? We need a holding midfielder. The board might not agree with that. And I certainly think that result today shouldn't be... Look, we've won the game with the last kick of the ball. However you dress it up, that is a bit fortunate. It is. Whether we deserve to win the game or not, doesn't matter. We did. But we've won it with the last kick of the game. Can you really sit there in the last week of the transfer window and go, well, that just proves it. We're going to get top 4. It doesn't. Spurs are going to buy Adama Traore. Arsenal might buy Vlahovic and a midfielder. And they've got games in hand that if they win, they go above us. This top 4 race is still ridiculously difficult. We do need to buy. To be fair, Arsenal and Tottenham need to play each other. One of the game in hands, and Tottenham play Chelsea. Chelsea, it's definitely on, says Lil. Yeah, but we've got to go to Arsenal. We've got to play Spurs. We've got to go to the Etihad. We've got to go to Anfield. So, you know, a lot of those teams have played a lot of those games. I really like that we controlled the game rather than being on the back foot for large portions of the game. The manager's ideas are becoming apparent, says Dan. We need Spurs and Arsenal to start dropping their points now, says LJ Snooker. Varane was rock solid today. Can't afford to lose him again. Look, I think in the last 3 games, well, we'll do the player ratings, so I'll save it for Varane. Right, first of all, look, there's nothing wrong with a 6. People seem to find 6 offensive. 6 out of 10 in footballing terms is average. David De Gea was average today. He had nothing to do. There is nothing wrong with giving a 6. I think people think a 6 is a bad thing. It's not. Below a 6, you're drifting into a poor performance. But 6 for me, David De Gea today, because he had nothing to do. Nothing to do. Really average game for David De Gea, and I'm glad it was. Delo, I would give a 6.5 today. Yeah, I agree. I thought first half he was our best player. In fact, let me just knock it up to 7 because it always looks bad. I'm going to start putting it higher than the 0.5. So I'd give him a 7, 6.7. He's a contender for man of the match. It's very hard to pick a man of the match today because there was so many performances around the same. But if I was giving it at half time, I would have given Delo man of the match. Maguire, give him a 6 today. Yeah, I agree with that. Average performance. I mean, look, yellow card was silly. Couple of mistakes here and there. First half, couple of good tackles. Didn't put a foot wrong. Wasn't a great performance. Wasn't a bad performance. Probably the same as David De Gea. Just an average performance, which you would expect from Manchester United's £80 million centre-back. You'd expect him to have a decent game, and it was an average performance, yes. Varane, I would go higher and give him a 7. I just think, I was just about to say this. Over the last 3 games, Varane has been low-key superb. I thought against Villa he was very good. I think against Brentford he was very good. And again today he was very good. You get the feeling with Varane in the team that those performances where we got stuffed by Leicester and Watford would not be possible with him in the team. He brings an assurity, a confidence. He's clearly the best defender we've got, and that comes across. He conveys that positional sense, recovery pace, strength, ability on the ball. he's just an immaculate defender, and I've been very, very impressed with him in the last 3 games. And after 2 injuries where we've not really got to see him, getting consistent Varane at centre back is a massive boost to the team. Telles, I'd give him a 6. Again, I just thought, for me, Luke Shaw comes in. I've seen enough of Telles now, and I think it's interesting, and we'll probably talk about it on the Sunday show tomorrow. But the Telles experiment for me is that he's a good backup left back, but Luke Shaw for me is better. At right back, I think Dalot holds the shirt. So, we've had enough time to see that now, and I think Dalot and Shaw should be the first choice right back, fullbacks for now. Fred, 6, 5.6. You probably have been a little bit harsh, but I thought Fred was, I described it as an honest performance, and people were like, "What's an honest performance?" And an honest performance to me is that he tried, he didn't put a foot wrong, but he basically was honest in his performance. That's all I can do. That's it. I'm not keeping anything back. I'm not being dishonest in my performance. He gave everything. It's just not good enough. That's the bottom line with Fred. I thought he was crap against Brentford. Wasn't very good in the second half against Villa. Today was probably his best performance of the 3, but for me, it was very average. He's just, if you replace him with Gundogan or Kovacic or Henderson, we'd be a much better team. And that's the thing. It's not about calling people a load of crap. It's just about ability. There's nothing wrong with Fred's performance today. It's an ability thing. He has a ceiling, and we saw it today. He's never going to be better than that. And that's never going to be good enough to close up on better teams. We need a better player in that position. He's a bench player. He gives you what he gives you. You know what you're going to get with Fred on a good day. And today was a good day for him, but it was still average. Again, McTominay was a 6 for me. Again, look, it's not a bad performance from McTominay. It really isn't. But again, he played well against Burnley and then was poor against Wolves. He plays well in the second half against Brentford, and then he's just average again. And it's a quality issue. There's nothing wrong with his performance today, but it's just not. There was nothing about it that was like, wow. Whereas in the second half against Brentford, there was a few real wow moments. The thing with McTominay is, when he played against Brentford, he was driving forward, and he's a number 8, he's not a number 6. But also, critics will say, well, of course he's going to, what's so good about playing well against Burnley and Brentford? They're bottom half of the table teams. He needs to do it against these teams, and it's a quality thing. But I thought, I don't think he was bad. I just think it was average. And look, I'll be consistent. I really thought Bruno was average today as well. I don't think he was. I think all 3 of them were average. Obviously, Bruno's a much better player than McTominay and Fred, but all 3 performances were average. There's no agenda. There's no, 6. I gave David De Gea a 6. I've given McTominay a 6, Fred a 6, Maguire a 6, Bruno a 6. They've not played badly in my mind, but they've all played average. Obviously, Bruno's average is better than McTominay's average, and De Gea's average is better than Fred's average. But they've all played average. And yeah, that's what I would say about that. A lot of people are letting their hate for Maguire cloud their judgment. Both him and Varane were a solid 7. Says Danny King. Mark, I have better passing range than Fred, says Michael. And I know it won't be popular, but Ronaldo played a very mature game today. Well, we'll come to Ronaldo, Saham, because I actually think he had a good game, but people will go, he didn't score a goal. Mason Greenwood today, I'd probably give him I'd give him a 5.5, so 6, because I always go above the 5. But I would give him a slightly below average. It's becoming a little bit infuriating, and he symbolises it, and Rashford symbolises it as well. This 1 assist as a wide player, when he's played as many games as he is not good enough. He shoots too much. He's not a wide player, he's a forward. And I don't want him to lose that shooting instinct because he's a forward. He's just being played out of position. Now, what needs to happen is you need to get Sancho on the right wing and play him. The evidence is there. Delot's been given games and he's getting better and better and better. Put Sancho on the right and let him get better and better and better. And that's what we need to do. Greenwood's a forward for me, and I don't think it suits him out on the wing. Alanga today, I'd probably give him a 6. He's had an amazing week. He started 3 games in a row for Manchester United. I thought he was very good against Villa. Obviously, he got his goal against Brentford. And today he was a little bit quiet. And he fell into the trap as well. There was one in the second half where Elanga cuts inside. There's a West Ham player right in front of him and he shoots. And you go, why? Just pass it to Bruno who's on your right. So, look, development of Elanga is looking very good. Ronaldo to me today was a 6.5. Not a 7, but I can't do 0.5s. I thought he... no service again. So straight away he's in a graveyard shift. But what he did do, there was a lovely bit of play where he got Rashford in and Rashford mishit it. The movement he made on the goal was very good. He dribbled with the ball a lot. I thought Ronaldo put a real shift in for the team today. And a very leader type performance from Ronaldo. Now it'd be really annoying him that he's not scored in 2 games for United. He's not really had a sniff at scoring in 2 games. He got very close to that lovely cross from Bruno, but it was just ahead of him. But his link-up play, his leadership, his movement was actually very, very good today. So I'd give him a 6.5. Rashford, I'd probably give him a 6. I'm not going to give him any better than an average because he scores a tap-in. But it's great for his confidence that we've got Rashford back. But I don't know why... Well, maybe it's just generosity that people want to give him a little bit more. But... You know what? To be fair, mainstream TV stations give people man of the match for scoring the winning goal, and he did score the winning goal, so maybe that's enough. But I always give a player rating based on their overall performance, and I thought, Marcus Rashford was on the pitch for half an hour and was very, very quiet, but scores a goal. You've got to be in the position to score the goal, as Arya says. So I'd give him a 6. Maybe a 6.5 is fair, but I'd give him a 6. Actually, I'm going to knock it up. I'm going to give him a 7. I'm going to give him a 6.5, so I'll go there. That's fine. But no, very important. Rashford gets his confidence back. 2 goals in his last 2 games. I like Rashford. I want him to do well. And you know what? What he has done, or maybe hasn't done, but where he's been successful is simplicity. The goal against Brentford, ball in, shoot at goal, scores. Today, tap in. None of this trying to run past 3 players or shoot from 40 yards. Simplicity. And we spoke about this 3 weeks ago about Rashford. If I was coaching him, I'd just say, Marcus, simplify your game. Get back to the basics. And he's got back to the basics, scoring goals. Martial's just a 7, isn't it? Clearly a 7. I thought he was, it was a cameo, but it was a creative cameo that we really miss off the wide. So, yeah, fantastic from Martial today. And I think on that one, it's just going to be very interesting to see what we do, because I would put him on the left wing and I would start him in the next game. And I'd say, look, if you play like you did in the last 10 minutes, I'll start you in the next game. And if you play well in that, I'll start you in the next game. That's all I can offer you. There's a lot of competition for places. Do you want to do it? And if he goes, no, I want to play up front and I want to go on loan, then you let him go. But there's a player there who offers something that nobody else does. Whether you're playing Football Manager or whether you're playing FIFA or whether you're playing pub football or it's your team playing football, when you've got 5 attackers, you really want 5 attackers that offer you different things. And what Martial does is offer us something very different to what Rashford does, Greenwood does, Elanga does. He's very different. He's a very different type of player. But when you want to be creative, he's probably the best of the lot. And we're crying out for creativity. Cavani, again, I'd give him a 6.5. Yeah, so I have to go with the 7. Yes, again, offers you something very different. For me, Cavani's perfect in a game like that to come on with the last 10 minutes. And, the assist was perfect. He kept himself onside. That was experience as well. The cross was perfect. And it's a tap in for Rashford. So those 2 really made a massive impact for us. And Ranić today, I've got to give him a 7. I do. I thought that it felt very Ollie, Mourinho, Van Gaal. We controlled the game. We prevented them from really creating anything, but then we couldn't create anything ourselves. And we saw this under Jose, we saw it under Van Gaal, and we saw it under Ollie. You can't control a game like that and then create 10 chances, because you can't control the game if you do that, because we controlled the game quite deep and we stopped West Ham doing anything, but then we couldn't get up the pitch. And if we'd gone up the pitch, we might have left space on the break. So we nullified West Ham's break, but we didn't create enough in the final third. And if that had been a 0-0, I think people would have gone, But then, in the last 10 minutes, he goes 4 up front, which is a risk, which is attacking, and he wins the game. So, Rangnick probably sit there tonight and go, that's the perfect game. I've kept, and I predicted we keep. You know what? I've done it again. 3 predictions in a row. I said a draw against Villa. I said we beat Brentford, and I said we beat West Ham, and I also said we'd get a clean sheet today. So the Goldbridge jinx is over. It's doing well, but yeah, you've got to give them a 7. I think the most impressive thing from that game to me was, you know, a lot of it was quite boring, the way that we controlled the game. I'll agree, but to go and win it the way you did, and it was very Sir Alex-esque in the last 10 minutes to go and win the game like that with 4 attackers. We don't win that game if he doesn't bring the 2 attackers on, because all 4 of them play a part in the goal. Fantastic win, and Rangnick deserves the praise. And you know, football is all about results, isn't it? And it's a massive result. Man of the match, I'm struggling. Oh, who do I give man of the match to? I'll tell you what I'm going to give man of the match to, and I hope he wins it, but I'm not sure he will. I'm going to give it to Delo, because it's difficult. So there was nobody played badly today, but so many people played sort of around average. So I'm going to go Delo. Oh, he's won it. Well done. Smash a like on the video for Delo. I'm so pleased. 27% of the vote. Diego Delo gets man of the match. Interestingly enough, it's quite spread out as I look down. Martial's got 18%, and even Ronaldo's done quite well. And let me just roll down. So we've got Delo, Martial with 18%. Ronaldo came in at 3rd. There's a few for Varane, and then Rashford's, Maguire's are quite low. So yeah, there you go. I mean, to be honest, Varane would have been a good shout as well, because the last 3 games he's been fantastic, hasn't he? But well done to Diego Delo, and you know, I do think Varane is going to need a man of the match soon, because he low key is performing so well. He's been absolutely fantastic for us. But Diego Delo with man of the match, absolutely superb, and just over the moon with that win. We needed it. We desperately needed it, and sometimes the result is more important than anything. And at the moment, you know, even when we play Burnley in a couple of weeks' time, we've just got to keep winning to keep that top 4 dream alive. And look, top 4 to me is not about a trophy. We should be in the top 4. We should be in the Champions League. But I think there is a trophy at the end of this. And it's Cristiano Ronaldo. If we don't get top 4, I don't think he'll stay. Anyway, look, thanks everyone for watching. I'll push you onto the fan forum. They've got lots of things to say as well. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe. Fantastic win for United on what was a very difficult game, but a very good, fantastic result. I'll speak to you all in a bit.